it's time, Internet! It's time for It Could Have Been Worse, the series where I take a movie you hated and show you how much worse it could have been and you feel better about the movie. Or you take this way too seriously and type something about how I'm really bending over backwards to defend a bad movie. Guys, stop taking me seriously. I just want to make jokes about mother boxes. This week, we're getting super friendly with Justice League. Get it? Super Friends. Hey, I find a dead horse, I poke it. It's what Jesus would have done.
I don't get that joke.
What joke?
Jesus poking a dead horse.
I don't know, man. It's what Buddha would have done. It's what Lincoln would have done. Maybe you hated the plot. Let's just start there. Let's start broad. A generic evil guy comes back to finish the job he apparently started thousands of years ago, according to a dramatic and epic prologue. Side note, if your Lord of the Rings prologue isn't narrated by Cate Blanchett, get the f*** out of here. His mother boxes are spread to the elves, dwarves, and men, and he's come back to, and he's got to come back to, I just wrote this 20 minutes ago.
You know what? It's what Dr. Doolittle would have done. He's an actual vet, so he probably would have poked it. What the is exactly?
Why are you still on this?
You know this goes in, right? It's just max 10 minutes after we do the fucking take. Anyway, his mother boxes are spread to the elves, dwarves, and men, and he's got to come back to gather them together. And then the mother boxes will form something called the Unity. And then that will terraform the planet to be more like Steppenwolf's planet, unless Superman can stop it. Well, guys, it could have been worse. In 2013, Warner Brothers released a film called Man of Steel about some less than savory survivors of Krypton using a giant engine to terraform the Earth to be more like their planet, unless Superman can stop it. So if you thought the plot of Justice League was dumb, don't forget that Warner Brothers made the exact same movie less than 5 years ago. And as I'm saying it out loud, I'm realizing that this is not helping Justice League not sound terrible. And in fact, I just made it worse. This has already gone off the rails real quick. I've killed the premise of my own show and I don't know what to do now. Hey, what's that?
Get back there!
Okay.
No.
We don't do it anymore!
Finish your video!
Finish
the video!
Hello, everything is fine now. Here are several storylines worse than this remake of Man of Steel. So if this tale of a baddie doing the bidding of Darkseid isn't doing it for you, one time a villain named Sleaze successfully mind-controlled Superman and Big Barda on behalf of Darkseid. What did he do with a mind-controlled Superman? Did he take over the world, or fly off with Fort Knox, or punch Mars? Nope. He forced them to film a sex tape together. And then he showed it to Barda's true love, Mr. Miracle. And now we know why so many DC fans love the word cuck. There's also Superman at Earth's End. It's an Elseworld story from 1995 set in the post-apocalypse, or because this is DC, the post-Darkseid, and Superman fights an army of Batmen led by twin Hitler clones. Side note, this is the least insane DC story from the 90s. Did you hate Steppenwolf? Me too. My college roommate played Magic Carpet Ride on a loop constantly. He was also naked all the time, clearly very comfortable with himself and was not worried about my comfort level in the least. Steppenwolf. See? It's funny because the words are the same. Guys, I hated him too. Not just because he was boring and generic like Ronan the Accuser or Doctor Who dressed as a dark elf, but because he looked like someone tried to make Darkness from Legend edgy. Like, hey man, like what if our baddie was Tim Curry, but he did Tough Mudder races in an Entourage tank top while shotgunning a beer at Coachella? How sick would that look? It's the one you get. I don't think I can do it again. Well, it could have been worse, because DC has had some dumb f***ing villains. There's Codpiece. He had a high-tech codpiece, and he used it to rob banks. Why? Because he had a small penis. That's true. It's in the comics. But in the Snyder Cut, it's a perfectly good-sized penis, and women suck. Snyder Cut burn! And don't forget about Airstrike. He got turned into a pterodactyl man. Nothing against pterodactyls, they're always pretty cool. Sauron, Swoop, Pterosaur, they're super fun. This guy just makes the list for the unnecessary Y in his name. At least be consistent and make both I's into Y's. Airstrike. Now it looks like the name of a Welsh pirate. Brainstorm is cool. He's called Brainstorm because Dildo Skull was taken. And finally, guys, they could have just brought back Nuclear Man. And he could have grossed everybody out with his weird fingernails. Did you think this Justice League lineup just sucked? I mean, here we kind of part ways because they're basically a Lantern and a Manhunter away from the classic lineup, but whatever, let's make fun of stuff. Well, the Justice League lineup could have been worse. because this league could have included the Newsboy Legion. But why just read you the names of this legion of newsboys when they can introduce themselves to you themselves? It's me, Tommy Tompkins, read all about it. Hey, I'm Big Woods, I don't take no guff. My name's Gabby, I'm also here. I'm Scrapper, I get into fisticuffs. And I'm Flipper Dipper. They were best friends with Jimmy Olsen, who's dead. So, ooh, here's one. Maybe you didn't get enough Themyscira in your Justice League movie. Themyscira. Let's take it back. Okay, here's a good one. Maybe you didn't get enough Themyscira in your Justice League movie. I know I didn't. I love Xenoland. Well, it could have been worse. You could have had, and stay with me here, even more Themyscira. So much that they become the focus of the movie, and you get an adaptation of Amazon's Attack. It's a 6-issue miniseries about the Amazons invading the US, where these badass warrior ladies unveil their secret weapon, which is not, for some reason, just them being themselves. Nope, it's giant killer hornets, which, while not bees, is a good enough reason to play a choice Nick Cage clip. Here it is. Open my eyes! Eyes! Ah! The highlight of this invasion is this gem from Batman, which feels really Adam West, but I'd pay good f***ing blood money to hear it out of Ben Affleck's mouth. A deadly bee weapon. Bees. My God. Basically, it's a story about survivors of Themyscira using giant hornets to terraform the Earth to be more like their island. Unless Superman can stop it. Ugh. And that's our show! I hope you feel a little bit better about Justice League now that you've seen the roads it could have traveled. And if you didn't love this video, make sure to harass ScreenJunkies to release the Snyder cut of it. The jokes aren't finished and I mostly rant about Ayn Rand, but I think you'll dig it.